Father, we bless you. Teach us your word in the name of Jesus. This is Battle Against Sons, part 3. Our text will be from Exodus chapter 2, from verse 7 to 10. In verse 4, Moses' sister stood afar off, just to watch what will happen. And immediately she was able to, to discern that the princess has decided to spare the child. She came near and spoke to the princess, saying, "Shall I go and call to thee a nurse of the Hebrew women, that she may nurse the child for thee?" Since the child was a Hebrew child, so he will need a Hebrew nurse. Immediately the princess permitted her to go. She ran straight to the real mother of Moses and recommended her as the Hebrew nurse to raise the child. She was to raise Moses for the princess with salary. Moses' mother will be paid for taking care of her own son. It was only the princess and the maids which came with her that was in the dark. The sister and the mother knew God was at work. In verse 8, the sister was referred to as maid, not because she works for the princess, but based on their level of influence. It is a way of honoring the princess by calling her maid. So it means she can be answerable to the princess. Let us consider verse 9 to 10. And Pharaoh's daughter said to her, "Take this child away and nurse it for me, and I will give thee thy wages." And the woman took the child and nursed him. And the child grew, and she brought him unto Pharaoh's daughter, and he became a son, and called his name Moses. And she said, "Because I drew him out of water." I hope you know that everything happened close to the river. The princess saw Moses at the river side. She took him. Somebody came to give the princess a suggestion at the riverside. The nurse was brought to the princess at the riverside. The nurse went with the baby at the riverside. The conclusion of the payment for the care of the child was made at the riverside. So God made everything fast because he needed to save Moses. And by saving Moses, God was saving the Israelites. One important thing to learn from Moses' mother was emotional stability. She composed herself and she didn't give the princess any impression that that he was her son. She nursed the child, and when he grew, she returned her to the princess. She didn't even think of running away with the baby. Since he was a son, she nursed him and still returned him to the princess. Come to think of it, it was the same mother, you know, it was the same mother that dumped him at first that ended up training him at last. What was the difference between then and now? The difference was the difference was, you know, then now the difference was that then there was no permission for her to raise the child, but now there was the permission. So if anyone challenged her, she will have nothing to say then. But now, after meeting with the princess, she could easily say, "This child is from the princess," and they will spare her. Do you have a backup? In this life, there are many things that you can do that you may never do without a backup. There are many great heights you can reach that you may never reach without a support. Moses' mother was bold to do what she could not do before because of the backup she had. If God is your backup, then you won't pack up. When Moses returned to the palace, he was adopted by the princess. All this didn't bother Moses' mother because to her, she believed it is better a son is adopted by another woman than to see a son die. At last, with the current condition, she can still see him, only that the child may not be able to relate with her as a mother openly. After the adoption, the princess called him Moses, which means for I drew him out of water. This means that Moses' mother did not, give him a name before dumping him. And even if she does, the name will not be consequential. Yes, because the princess will not know that he already had a name. So Moses' naming was done in the palace. He was born by an ordinary person, but the naming ceremony took place among princes. All through the period when Moses' mother was raising him, before she returned him to the palace, he was still without a name. That means the best way to call Moses then would be this boy. Hey, some will even say water boy, or probably some will say princess boy, or better still, some may even call him anonymous since he has no name. Different people that saw him called him different names just to create a basis for communication. Perhaps some of his little friends may even make fun of him by calling him no name. All these were the problems Moses faced as a young child before he was finally given a name. Moses was not named as a baby, he was named as a grown up child. At that point, he needed to learn how to adapt with his name. And that moment will be one of his best moments because he has a name to present. Formerly, when you ask Moses, "What is your name?" his response will be, probably, "I don't know." But now, he is finally free from those who call him Mr. No Name or Bro Anonymous. I pray for you that as many as those among you that needs a change of name positively, that the Lord will give you a new name in the name of Jesus. This is the wisdom of God. Don't sell it.